Hello, my name is Marcus and welcome to Tabletop Reviews, where today I have another board game for you. Yeah, I should just call this board game reviews, but I might have something different right at some point. But you can maybe see it there. Ooh, can you see it? Ooh, ooh. It is Skylanders action game. A game from, when the hell was this released? Like 2013 or something. It has this little tactic logo up here, which is, I don't know if it's international, but if you see that in Denmark, you know this is going to be a kids game, definitely. But more about that later. First, we gotta go to the table and see how it's set up and how it's played. Alright, I'm a little bit lower than I am usually, but Skylanders action game, time to set it up. Alright, as always, just lift the rule book down here. Yeah, right. So there's actually a little bit of a puzzle to be assembled when you first open it up here. All kinds of bits and pieces flying around. Let us just start with the central board. So you start off with the central ring, the green one here, and then you will simply assemble the ring around it, matching the colors, you know, on the puzzle. And then it's all about trying to figure out which challenge goes where of these ones to complete the puzzle. And then you should distribute all of the things for each of the puzzles. You have a health meter here with a bunch of numbers that you're gonna have to put in the correct order. And you have a whole bunch of these black cardboard tokens, which will have to be randomly distributed around all of the spaces on the board that have the same black logo on them. You can grab all the dice and take the numbered dice and place the rest in the middle. And of course, grab all of the figures, 4 cardboard Stanleys, and place them on their respective starting spots that matches the color of the cardboard. And there we go. Whole bunch of pieces need to be distributed to different challenges and all things, and the puzzle needs to be assembled. Boy, it's a setup, but with everything it's complex the first time, but once you get it down, play it a bit, it becomes quite simple. You just gotta remember where which thing goes. Okay, I just had to cut back because I was talking about the rules in Danish. That's not what I'm supposed to. I'm sorry. It's probably gonna be a weird cut because I was gonna start talking Danish. Anyways, the aim of the game is to defeat characters in the final battle in the arena, which you reach once all the Skylanders have gone the trip around their part of the track and arrived in the middle arena / portal / whatever. And then you battle against Chaos. So Chaos gets strength by these Chaos medallions being placed in the arena, and the Skylanders gain strength by completing challenges. Now, how do you get around to completing challenges? Well, you start off by rolling the dice and moving, of course, however many it shows. If you land on one of these black Chaos logo ones, you flip them over, see if they're blank or if Chaos is on them. Chaos is on the majority of them. Our Skylanders get to do the challenges by landing on the Skylanders on the field. There are 2 per Skylander in their little part of the arena. If you land on them, then you do the challenge. Yeah, let's start off with Jetpack's challenge. So Jetpack, you have the numbers 1, 2 and 3, and you have to try and get these blue discs into the numbers in order, and you have 3 shots per. And you start off by shooting from the little blue field up in the bottom of the field or whatever. You place one there and then you flip it over to try and hit 1, 2, 3 in order. What's his name? Fruno's challenge. You grab the decks of cards, split them up into the Skylander cards and the Chaos cards, denoted by the logos on the back. You shuffle them up and draw up 3 cards of the Skylanders. And then you select 2 of those cards to be played out. Then you simply draw the top 2 cards from the Chaos pile. And if the Skylanders, the value of your Skylander cards are higher than the ones from Chaos, then you grab all 4 cards into a winner stack. If Chaos is higher, then he grabs all 4 cards to his winner stack. And by the end, if the Skylanders pile is larger, they win the entire game. In case of a draw, you simply put down the last card from you guys and next card in Chaos's, and then continue drawing the top card until you have determined a winner of that round, and then draw up 3 new cards and start over until all cards have been played, of course. Then you have Pop Fizz's challenge. So this is sort of a puzzle game where you will shuffle up the normal cards and draw up the top one, which will show you 6 figures. And these 6 figures you will have to try and assemble with the square cards. And this is on time. So you have to flip over the hourglass that is in the game and then try and assemble these 6 figures. By the time, when the time runs out, then you have completed the challenge if you have all 6 figures correctly placed. You have lost the challenge if there are too few or too many figures. You cannot assemble some that are not a part of the card. The final challenge is Trigger Happy's challenge, and this is sort of a memory challenge. You take all of the 16 white chips, place them face down, mix them up, and then you turn around the hourglass again, and then you each take a turn to turn around 2 of the chips, and if you get a matching pair, you move that aside. The challenge is completed if you find all pairs, and if you fail to find all pairs, you've lost the challenge. To win a challenge, you put a die in the arena, but of course you can keep them with the Skylander side up to showcase that it's your die. If you lose a brick of energy from your energy meter here. Then you have the final battle. Throughout the game you have determined how many dice you have, how many dice Chaos has. Chaos rolls his dice first, and how many Chaos die showcase how many of the dice that showcase Chaos symbol, that's how many points he gets for that roll. And then you, as the Skylanders, roll your dice and see how many of the Skylander symbols show up. And of course, if your Skylanders result is higher, then you win, you defeat Chaos, and you've won the game. If there's too many Chaos symbols, then you lose a brick on your energy meter. And if you run out of energy on your energy meter, then Chaos wins the entire game. And that is the game. Now, a quick thing, I think I said that if you find Chaos, you put a die in the arena. You don't, you put the brick in the arena to showcase. And then of course the dice if you win a battle. It's just a correction there at the end here. Yeah, plenty of chances to fail. I'm gonna mention this in the final thought. This is a kid's game. You can see that by the fact that the challenges are easy enough, and if you go through them, you have 7 tries to defeat Chaos. So, anyways, all that is of course for final thoughts. So let's head right back up there now and talk about it. And there you are. That's the setup and the gameplay of it. Now let's talk about it. You might notice that I'm a little bit off. I was in the last couple of episodes. I've had a little bit of a break from filming and stuff, so I got back into the groove. Anyways, gameplay. It's you know, it's a roll and move, a little bit like Ludo or Monopoly, but this is actually fun. Yeah, no, it's roll and move, which of course makes it quite lucky, and you might actually go through the entire game without really getting the advantage that you get from the challenges, which is a little bit, it's not so great. You should be, you know, should be a guarantee that you get to the challenges. But challenges, they're actually really good. I like the challenge. Most of the challenges they do provide, you know, some actual challenge in it, even for me. One or two of them, and then there is, you know, some of them that are incredibly easy to do. And I very much feel like it's, you know, it's made for kids. As I said, it's a kids game, so the challenges would be a lot more challenging if you had a younger audience actually competing in them. But yeah, gameplay is a bit lucky. You can actually go through without completing one. We have done that before in a game with this. But if you do get into the challenges, it's all about your own skill. Can you flick that one right? Can you put these ones around correctly in time, or whatever? And it's all about your skill to get advantage into the later game, into the later fight against Chaos, which of course is again 100% lucky. You win, you won't win, depending on the luck of the dice roll. So, you know, it's a balance of luck and skill, and I think there's maybe a little bit too much luck. The components. Well, the dice that I used, there's a couple of different dice that I used. Basically pretty fine. They feel good in your hand, feel good to roll. One thing is they were put on with stickers to mark the different sides you can roll, which is a little bit like cheap, mate. But they're perfectly fine. The board, the central board, the little plastic one in the middle and the puzzle around it, it's actually perfectly fine. Yeah, I like the little assembling of it, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna break. It feels fairly sturdy when you assemble it, the cardboard stuff, and of course that plastic one in the middle. It resembles a portal very well, and it does the trick. Then you have got the standees that you use. Nothing special about them, but I think, you know, if you get cardboard standees, this is the quality you expect from them. So it's good quality there. There's a bunch of few little smaller components in it, and they're all fine. Like, it's nothing where I would go like, oh my god, this is amazing. But they're on Tale Arrival, you know, they do the trick and they're perfectly fine. And I compared to Monopoly and Ludo earlier, and in a lot of Monopoly or Ludo games, they feel incredibly cheap and terrible. This one doesn't really. Like, it feels like, you know, you actually made them to be playable, and you don't feel terrible moving them around. Only the dice being, you know, with the stickers on it is the only thing that feels overly cheap. So the components is fine. It's a half thumb up, you know. The theme? Well, it's a Skylanders theme, obviously. No, I should prepare a little bit more how to say it. I'm thinking about how I want to say it. Obviously, some of the challenges, sure, to the Skylander make a little bit of sense, but not quite how much you want it to. But in the end, it is Skylanders. The overall theme is to collect your strength and then defeat the final boss, Chaos, of course. So it makes a lot of sense to Skylanders. The challenges are just a little bit off, as you know, you probably wouldn't expect that challenge to be something associated with that character. I don't think in a lot of them. But I think the theme makes sense as a Skylanders theme. Collect your strength, defeat the Chaos. The only thing there is probably the luck, because in Skylanders, if you play the game, there's nothing really about luck. It's all about your skill and what you choose to do and how you choose to do it. So that falls out, but of course, how else are you going to move your Skylanders around? Does it lie to you? Well, on the side of block right there, it says 6 and up, 2 to 4 players, and there is not a time on it. Oh hey, 45 minutes and more. Plus, what the hell does that not say here? It's a bit weird. Let's start about it. Ages 6 and up, makes sense. As I said, the challenge is very much towards a younger audience. 45 minutes or over seems excessive. Like, I wouldn't say that it would take 45 minutes. I wouldn't expect it to. So that's, you know, that's quite a lot actually. 45 minutes. I don't think when we did it, it took 45 minutes. So that's a bit much. 2 to 4 players is a 4-player game. It's made obvious in the rules. You have 4 different Skylanders controlled by 4 different people to try and get in there and fight their own battles and the challenges. So yeah, it's a 4-player game. 2-player variant doesn't stray much. You just control 2 Skylanders, but like don't play this as 3. I talked about Tic Tac Toe not that long ago. Again, 3-player doesn't make any sense. 1 player has to be 2 or whatever. It's a 4-player game, maybe a 2-player game if you want. And the final score that I'm going to give this one is a 5 out of 10. Why 5 out of 10? Well, as I said, in most of the things it's perfectly fine. The theme fits perfectly fine, the components are all perfectly fine, and I just don't think a really good game is one that I'm going to say fine about, but a really bad game is not one that I'm going to say fine about either. It's a very middle of the park game. A little bit too much luck maybe, but some challenges, as I say, negate that with your skill. And of course the theme fits fine, and the components are all good enough, fine, standard. So to me it just shouts 5 out of 10. Completely standard game, nothing overly bad about it. So big question: am I keeping it? Right now I'm not actually that sure. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna keep it. I might donate it to my scout troop, because this might be something just for them. With the little bit cognitive, you flip it, you remember it. It's a bit learning for the age that we have of there. So I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna keep this or donate there. Otherwise, I'm going to get to play this again, because I actually want to play it again. Just not sure if it's gonna be in my collection or somewhere else. But that's another episode of Tabletop Reviews done. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Sorry about me stuttering around a little bit. Just getting back to form of recording and all that. But I hope you will join me in the next episode. Until then, bye.